In this video, I want to talk about the machine learning layers of optimization that exist within the Google Ad platform. It's really important to understand how the Google Ad platform actually works so that you can conceptualize and create campaign structures that are best aligned with the systems and the tools that Google actually gives you. Now, this is a concept that I've talked about in some previous videos, but us as an agency, we always focus as much as possible on consolidating structures within Google Ads as well as Facebook as well, actually. The reason for this is because different machine learning models exist segmented at the campaign level based on historical conversion data. So let me really oversimplify this down. Let's say that you're running 4 different campaigns. One has 50 conversions in the last 30 days, one has 20, one has 15, one has 5. These conversions are not being shared with each other to improve targeting of the individual campaigns. They're all siloed out. And so what this ends up meaning is that inherently this campaign up the top here is probably going to be the best performing campaign because it has 50 conversions, 50 individual people with 60 million plus different psychographic data points that it can reference to infer who your target demographic is to then make the best bid adjustments possible moving forward in time. Anytime you have a small sample size of data, you're always going to suffer from small sample size bias, and it's not going to be a direct representation of the larger sample size of the population. Okay, so you always want the largest sample size possible to have the best possible modeling. That's why if we see an account with 4 different shopping campaigns, we will generally suggest, depending on the individual nuances of the business model, for them to consolidate down to a single shopping campaign. And that way, all of these 30, 50, 15, 5 conversions can become one campaign with 80 or 90 conversions, which is going to result in much better customer modeling and therefore better bid adjustments at auction and therefore better performance as a whole. Now, there's always going to be situations where you're going to want some degree of segmentation if that's dependent on different objectives at a collection or product level because of contribution margin. The list goes on. There's so many different reasons as to why you might want to segment, but it has to be very, very purposeful with the understanding that you will have worse performance at a account level return on ad spend perspective if you're going to go ahead and go for a consolidated structure. Now, this then raises the question, what level of the overall account is machine learning actually occurring at? The short answer is it occurs at every level. There's a machine learning model at the account level, at the campaign level, at the ad group - asset group level if you're using PMax, and then at the ad level - product level if you're using a shopping or performance max campaign. And so there's models at each of these levels that are taking in all of the conversion data below that level of the hierarchy. So the account level is taking in all account data within all conversion actions. And it's creating a model based on your target demographic using all of the data that it has. The campaign level is just taking in data from that campaign, which is something that we discussed right here. The ad group level is taking in data from the ad group, and then the ad level is just that ad or that product. And so why is this important? Why can't Google just run with a campaign level machine learning model and that's it? The reason why it's important is that if you have a consolidated campaign like we do here, but you have pens in this campaign, and then you also sell heavy machinery, for example, that's an extreme example, but let's go with it. Then if you just have optimization at the campaign level, the campaign's never going to work because you're going to be optimizing for users that are after pens, but then also individuals that are after heavy machinery. There's no overlap. It's going to get very, very confused, and it's not going to be able to serve your products correctly because it's not going to understand who your actual target demographic is. And this occurs at a much lesser degree with most brands. If you have multiple different collections or multiple different categories within your website, you're going to have different, slightly adjacent target demographics. And so that's why product level optimization is important. Okay, we want to make sure that the pens optimize to place on keywords like pen, rather than going and placing on keywords like heavy machinery, etc. And so you have these different layers of models. The question then becomes which one's actually used? Is just the product level used? Because this would be the most relevant data, right? Why would you want to use account level? Well, there's benefits to every single level, and that's based on volume of conversions. And so down at the product level, if you have 1,000 SKUs all pushing in a shopping campaign, at the end of the day, you're not going to have that much data at a product level. Okay, you might have a few primary hero product SKUs that are pulling 100, 200, 1,000 conversions a month, right? But then you're going to have a lot of SKUs that are pulling 1, sale a month, maybe 5 sales, maybe 10 sales a month. Nowhere near enough data to have accurate modeling as to how that product should be dynamically adjusting bids at an individual user level. And so it needs to borrow learnings from the level above. And so if you have a product that's only getting 1 conversion, it's not enough data to infer how it should be bidding. So it's going to look at the data at the asset group level and then use that to infer how it should bid. And then vice versa, if there's not enough data at the ad group or the asset group level, let's say you have hundreds of ad groups or hundreds of asset groups, you're going super hyper segmented, it's going to borrow from the campaign level. And then at the campaign level, if the campaign doesn't have enough data, if you have a campaign that's only getting 1 or 2 conversions a month, it's going to borrow from the account level. And so there's all of these levels where if there's not enough data and it can't exit quote unquote learning, it borrows data from the hierarchy above it. And so what this could end up looking like, and this will always dynamically change, there's no way to get access to this data to what I'm aware. But for example, if we were going to place this product within a Performance Max campaign, the account level might contribute 10% of its learning and its data to the decision on how we should bid. The campaign level might contribute 50%, ad group might contribute 20%, and then the ad level might contribute 30%. And so then with all of these contributions, and so this is going to come in and say, we should bid $1.50. And then this will come in and say, no, we should bid 50 cents. And then this will come in and say, no, we should bid 70 cents. This will then come in and say, no, we should bid about 90 cents. And then the weighted average of these suggested bids with the percentage weighting comes out to a 92-cent bid. And that's how that product bids at auction for that individual user. And so understanding that there are layers of optimization that all feed into each other based on conversion volume within each layer is really important when you're looking at optimizing, understanding the platform, and then going ahead and creating and building new structures and new tests to roll out within your Google Ad account.